Hey there, Dan with the Deo. I just want to take the time and shoot a video to explain what would be the best way or how to build a deck. Either if you're a homeowner that is looking to build his own deck, a DIYer, or if you're a homeowner looking to build a deck and you're trying to determine what directions to go, where to start. When starting out in this business, it was very confusing for me as well. Especially with all the different materials that are involved with the composites or with just the deck itself. There are 6 major components to the deck: the footers, the posts, the beam, the joists, the decking, and the railing. Some decks don't have all the components, but those are for any standard deck. That's what we'll be looking at. So whenever we're starting off with the footers. Questions that I like to ask homeowners is, what is your budget? Of course, everybody wants to keep those numbers close to them just because they don't want to say, hey, my budget's $200,000 and I give you a bid for $200,000. The budget is more so for me to understand what type of materials you want to do, how you want to assemble it. There's different costs on everything. So starting with the deck. So you have your footers. The best way is to determine what type of footers you want. You have your concrete footers, which are here in Colorado, we have to do, our frost line is 30 inches, meaning our footer needs to be 36 inches. Based on the deck weight, I've done 16-inch footers, 24-inch footers, so there are variations for the different footers that you can build out. So concrete is going to be your most basic footer and what a lot of builders use. There's nothing wrong with that. It does the job. However, if you just do a basic sonotube that you buy from Home Depot, it does not provide an upward lift. You'd have to put in a footer base for that, or a cone, to be able to provide the upward lift, and that upward lift being that a wind rating. The second is diamond piers. I like to use diamond piers myself for as many projects as possible. It's really hard to use diamond piers in the mountains because of rocks, but a diamond pier is a concrete center block with a bolt on top that you can put your post base. They have 2 different types of diamond piers, or more than 2 that they sell, 50-50 and a 50-75. Of course, 50-75 is a lot more weight. It's all depending, again, on the deck. But the diamond piers, you're driving 4-foot galvanized pipes into the ground at an angle, which provides that upward lift. One diamond pier is about $175 per each one. The next one's going to be helical piers. Helical piers are basically giant screws that get screwed into the ground. They have a machine that has a PSI rating on it and sees what that rating is. I had a project in Highlands Ranch out by the golf course where we had 3 helical piers we installed. 2 of them were here. One was for the beam, one was for the ladder. One went in 8 foot and it hit 6,500 PSI. The one next to it went in 9 foot and hit 6,500 PSI. The one 20 feet over, we had to go 21 feet into the ground before we hit 6,500 PSI. Sorry. So, with that being said, I had a project in Golden in Genesee Park, where we went 5 feet and we hit 6,500 PSI. So all that does matter. The helical piers are able to extend it. They would be the top of the line best bang for the buck. If you're using metal framing, or if you have a roof, I would highly recommend helical piers versus anything else. Just to give you a rough idea, helical piers you're looking as going to be the most expensive, but it's going to be the most durable, the strongest thing out there, and it does provide an upward lift where it has a wind rating. Whenever we build out a roof, we have to have a wind rating on that deck. I believe it's like 125 mile an hour wind rating. So that's footers. Once you determine the type of footers you want, or which ones are going to be best fit for you, next is going to be posts. You can use 4x4 posts, 6x6 posts. You have your pressure treated, you have your rough cedar. Well, you have 4x4, 6x6, 8x8, 12x12. 12x12 and 8x8 are special order, and those really drive the cost up. With the posts, they really matter. If you were using 4x4 posts, you have to use more of them. If you're using 6x6, it's using less of them. And then the beam. So there is a beam to span chart where I'll post up, and then I'll have a link for my website where you can go check out the beam to span chart. And I'll do another video on explaining how to use that chart. Posts, we have pressure treated Doug fir. We have southern yellow pine, which I don't like using. I do like using the Doug fir versus southern yellow pine. Rough cedar, which is another structural post, and made a video about the rough cedar batter cracking and all that. And then we have LVL. LVL is a man-made material, so they take trees that can't be used as regular lumber. They basically take as plywood. They pressure treat each sliver, then they press it together, and they pressure treat the whole thing. LVL offers a 25-year warranty, so it's about a 50-year product, is what I've been told. So with the LVL, a 4x4 post can handle about 4,500 pounds, and a 6x6 post can handle about 9,500 pounds. LVL post for a 4x4 is about 15,000 pounds, and a 6x6 is 25,000 pounds. There is, of course, a jump cost between those two. So Glulam also makes posts 4x4, I think with 6x6. And again, cost. It all boils down to cost. What do you want to spend? A 6x6 pressure treated Dougfir that has the incisors in it is $98 per post right now, where an LVL is about $250. Of course, the LVL will carry more weight than the 6x6. They will all perform. These are all questions that I ask homeowners, and these are all things to consider when building. The next is going to be the beam. You can use a double 2x8, a double 2x10, a double 2x12, or a triple 2x8, 10, or 12. Based on the beam you use, that's where the post's distance is. So whenever putting this together, so let's say the homeowner wants as few posts as possible. Then I would say let's use the Glulam beam, because the Glulam beam offers a 17-foot between 5x12 beam. The post difference is 17 feet. So the span between the joists, or between the posts, determined by the beam. And of course, the beam cost also varies. A 2x8x20, you're looking around $40. 2x10x20, you're looking around like $50, $55. And then a 2x12x20, you're looking at $150 for the board itself. And again, these prices vary. These are just stuff that I've, from what I have now, to kind of give you an idea. And then we can determine, so when building out the deck, of course, I start with the footers, the posts when I'm building out my quotes or designing the deck, and then the beam, then the joists. But really, all of this comes down to is what's the width of the deck you're looking to do, and what's the length that you're coming out from the house. For example, if you want to come out 20 feet from the house, you have to use 2x12x20. So if you're using a 2x12x20, you're paying about $155 a board. If you decide to want to do 18 feet from the house, you can use a 2x10, which are at $50 a board. So you can just do the numbers there. So, you know, is the cost worth it, that extra 2 feet? Some people say it is. LVL, you can also do a spanning of, you can span LVL a lot further than your wood. And then of course your metal framing is gonna be the best. So when building out the bow or the deck, what I look for is the size. Some homeowners say, hey, we like the size we have, we'll just do a little wider here, or so on and so forth. With the framing we have your pressure treated wood, you have your LVL, and you have your steel framing. Your steel framing is gonna be, you build it once and it's done. We had fires here in Colorado last year, I believe, in up north, Superior, Boulder County, and I've been told that their houses where the composite burnt, but the framing was still there. So when you do metal framing, it's once and done, you're never gonna have to worry about it. The average lifespan of a deck in Colorado is 25 years. So on the pressure treated, you're looking at a 25-year lifespan versus metal, you're not gonna have to do anything with it. And then your LVL, like I said, is a 50-year material, 25-year warranty, and then your pressure treated, which does not offer any warranty at all. And then of course, composites. Composites come in 12, 16, and 20-foot lengths. For the boards, fascia and riser only come in 12-foot sections. So whenever building out the boards, or whenever building out the deck, I first start with the width and the length from the house, because that's where it shows what I want to do. So if I want a 20-foot deck, I can put what I'll recommend to homeowners is doing 21 feet. Reason being is we can take a 20-foot board, you're already paying for it, and then we have one picture frame, a 6-inch picture frame going around, which gives us a foot with 2 picture frame combined, making it a 21-foot board. We can make it 20 feet, but we're cutting some boards off, and we're only adding an additional board or 2 to make it to that 21-foot length. Now, if you want to do a 30-foot board, 30-foot width deck, that would be 2 16-footers with 1 breaker board in the middle. What I like to do, and the way I approach projects, is to see the best bang for the buck and minimizing waste as much as possible. Whenever speaking with homeowners, that's why I always ask for budget, what sizes they have, what they're looking to build out, because all those variables vary. I've had customers who I would go out to a bid, and they say, oh, I want this, that, and they start listing everything they want. Then I provide with the quote like, oh, it's too much, and I don't hear back from them again. Where I can work with you to get what you want done within your budget. And of course, there's composite cost difference. So let's say we're going with the 20-footers, or we go on the high-end composites. One 20-foot board is anywhere from $155 to $140, $130 between different brands. It's the high-end boards. When you go into the good or the basic boards, a 20-footer is about $37. So if you have 20 boards, do the math. You can see how much of a difference that plays into the composites for there. We have the best thing to do is to determine what you really would want to do and what the space allows it to do as far as the width goes and the span. The next thing is railing. Railing comes in, different brands have different lengths. I did a video about the different railings, but they have 6, 8, and some brands do have 10-footers, some do not. And then there's only 6 and 8 foot sections for railing. So railing section is different than the regular railing on the top of the deck. And that also determines where you want the staircase based on the railing pieces, how much we're cutting, how we're doing it, to where that's also something to consider when building out your deck or what you want to do. I know this is a lot of information. It's a lot to process. However, this is why you have a subject matter expert like myself that can hold your hand and guide you through it. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Please subscribe and like. If you want to get a bid or would like to get a deck built, please give me a call or shoot us an email, 303-720-6167. That's 303-720-6167. And I know that a lot of the stuff I talked about was here in reference to Colorado. Every state has a different code that is being built by. With the different codes, even here, each county has different codes, different requirements, different elevation. Do check with your county when you are building a deck, and if you are a homeowner, I would highly recommend getting a homeowner's permit, getting plans drawn out and everything like that. And all those things I'll be going into in a different video. If you can dream it, we can build it. Dan here with the Deo. Good luck on your deck build.